Welcome to Fear Babes Podcast, a podcast made for Fear Fam members by Fear Fam members.
We would like to remind you that Fear Babes Podcast is not affiliated with the Project Fear crew in any way.
Everything we discuss on this podcast is strictly our own opinions.
My name is Madeline.
My name is Burgundy.
My name is Jamie.
And we are the Fear Babes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Fear Babes Podcast for our 6th episode.
6 episodes, huh? That is insane for some reason. Last week, we discussed Chelsea's location, old hospital on College Hill, and their sleeping arrangements. And let's not forget that Dak was locked in a body cooler for 3 hours. Sucks to suck, Dakota. I'm just kidding. That's rude. Also, last week, we had our first guest, Rachel, on. That was exciting.
Super
exciting. Loved it. This week, we have another guest on. We'll get into that later this episode.
This week, we are going to be discussing Tanner's location pick, Joliet Prison. This location was insane the first time, but man, was it even crazier the second time around. And we can't wait to talk about it with you guys because it was a doozy.
Also, our structure is a little bit different this week. Jamie is on vacation, so she will not make this episode. We miss her dearly, but she'll be back next week.
Next week. Yeah, we can talk about butthole antennas. We could talk about toe cream. We could talk about all the fun things. I mean, we'll still talk about fun things. Don't get me wrong. But, you know.
Oh, yeah. All the fun things.
We also do want to add as well that last night when we were recording, the normal podcasting app that we use isn't working. So we're having to use a whole other platform in order to bring you guys this week's podcast. Bergie had to do some heavy investigating last night.
Did a real quick 10-minute impromptu what's gonna fucking work because I need it right now.
Literally, because I don't know what's wrong with our website that we typically use, but something's up. And because of that, we are never going to record on Fridays again.
No, because last week we did Friday and we also had technical difficulties. So I just don't think Friday's our thing.
It's not. For some reason, we can't win.
Future guests, note to selves, we will be recording Saturday mornings. That is it. That is the only time we will record. Because I don't know if people know this or understand this, but we edit these episodes and the editing process is literally so intense. Like, I know that podcasts are totally different than YouTube videos or TV shows, but it kind of gave me a whole new appreciation for Dakota and Connor because shit's rough.
100%. Yeah.
And we did not allow ourselves a lot of time to do the turnaround, which we might discuss changing that up during the off season of Project Fear, but we'll just keep this platform for now because we're making it work. But yeah, it's a lot. Literally,
it's a lot.
From the moment we stop recording until right like an hour before we release the episode, it's in the editing process. So,
and now it bounces between me and Berg, so we tag team it together so we can still like have some sort of a weekend.
Yeah, I did the first couple episodes by myself, mostly because I'm just kind of a control freak with stuff like this. I was like, I will do it as mine. But then I was like, not having any weekend at all, and I was like, hey, Mads, I'm tagging you in, tag you're it. Let's fucking figure it out, bro. I'm just kidding. But Mads did a great job, so we decided, you know what? Let's fucking split it. Let's be Dakota and Connor and split this shit. It's only fair.
I do want to ask, how was your week, Boogie?
It was long.
It's long?
Oh, long like my dick.
Whoa! Jesus.
Yeah, sometimes work just kicks my butt, dude, because don't get me wrong, I really love my job. I really, really love my job. But sometimes, because we have weird sales requests that come in, and I create sales docs for our sales guys, sometimes it sounds like when you get the general concept when we're like, we have to do this, and I'm like, okay, this sounds really hard because we haven't done it yet. And I overthink things, and I overcomplicate it. So I think too hard about it, and then I just make it harder on myself than it actually needs to be.
Felt that.
And so I feel like literally mentally drained because I had like 2 or 3 confusing situations. And it's funny because like when you're going into it, you're like, how am I gonna fucking do this? Like, I don't know. And then when you're done, you're like, fuck yeah, nailed that shit. It's like it was like actually it wasn't that bad, but like in the beginning you just make it so freaking hard for no reason at all.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I like this? So yeah, I mean, it was eventful,
It was an
kept me on my
eventful week.
toes. Also been working out a shit ton. My body is so tired because I
Oh,
agreed to do that Spartan race. So I'm like, I have to
oh
get my
yeah.
ass in gear and train for that shit. Everything hurts. My brain, my muscles, all of it. Just full on exhausted at this point. But
Oh.
we're hanging in there. How was your week, Mads?
I first of all, I just want to say I felt all of that. But like right now, this week, it was a good week. Like there wasn't anything that I couldn't handle that happened. I don't know, man. Like I don't really have a lot of good stuff to say, but I don't have a lot of bad stuff either.
You know
I
what's funny though? It's not funny, but your comment about there wasn't anything that you couldn't handle. I just want to throw out there that your whole life, you've never been given anything that you can't handle because you've made it through every situation you never thought you would.
That's so true.
So I'm
Thank
not talking,
you.
I mean, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to our listeners because I know a lot of
Yeah.
people, real talk, real fast. It seems like a lot of the Fear fam's been going through some shit recently.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get stuck in our fields sometimes. And I just want everybody to know, like I just said, you've never been in a situation you didn't make it out of. So
That's
just hang in there. Keep
so
your head
true.
high. I know it's rough. It sucks sometimes. Sometimes you are like, how am I going to get through this? But you always do. I've told people before, your track record for getting through your tough times is 100%.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of holding back a little bit because I didn't want to get into like all the bad stuff, but maybe it's a good thing to maybe discuss that life has just been shit recently and you're not alone in that for those of you who are listening cuz I don't talk about my life on the internet, but life has just been very overwhelming recently. I don't know exactly why. I don't know where the pinpoint is. I think it's so many things at one time that makes it just so overwhelming. But, I'm handling it. I'm pushing through. I mean, life is still good. Not every day is bad. There's still good
Yeah,
points
it's
in a
not
day.
such a cheesy quote, but it's so true. It's not a bad life, it's just a bad day.
Literally. Long story short, my week was good, but it wasn't great either. And, I mean, just being completely transparent, I feel like that helps people. I know it definitely helps me to know I'm not alone. And it's not selfish to not want to be alone, honestly.
I think the Fear Fam is pretty consistent about showing up for one another.
Hell yeah.
So I don't think it's bad at all that we have a discussion like this on our podcast because you people in the Fear Fam, we're not alone, and we are here for you, and we do see you, and we do feel for you, and hopefully it's vice versa. I feel like it always is. So yeah,
Yeah.
real talk.
Real talk.
People have to remember we're all humans. We all experience the human experience. So
Yep.
I just wish, people wouldn't be so hard on themselves or other people because everybody got shit and everybody got days and it is what it is.
Yeah. I feel like here recently in this time, people are just ruthless. And that also is making me hate my job. So,
hmm
that's another reason why I'm like, ugh.
Trust me, I know like that's like 100% why I left urology is because the patients were getting so verbally abusive and it's like
Yep.
how I can't do this every day anymore. It's just bringing me down.
Yeah, I absolutely cannot
And
because
like people are like, "Oh, it doesn't sound that bad." I'm like, "Okay, but like you don't have to deal with it day in and day out, multiple people a day." And like
right.
some of the shit that people say to you or how they treat you is just so uncalled for. And it just gets to a point where you're like, I can't.
It
Like
definitely
it's not good for me.
it definitely affects your mental health and
Yeah.
like, I've gotten to a point with my job where I'm just so mentally checked out
Yeah.
that I'm just so ready to just move on. Like I'm at that stage of my life where I'm ready to move on. And it's kind of weird. I'm bringing this back in to the paranormal kind of aspect. When we were in Atlanta, me, Berg, and our friend Amanda, we all had a reading done.
Okay, so my whole reading was that my job wasn't for me and that come the new year I would find something different that suited me. And guess what? Started my new job in February. So I don't know. I don't know, do with that information what you will.
It's very interesting because at first I thought it was a crock of shit because I was sitting there and I was like, when she was telling me in the reading, the first thing she said, which I thought was very interesting, was, which we can talk about this on the podcast too, about like relationships. She literally told me, she said, this next year, I feel like you need to be focused on yourself and you're going to come to this realization that it needs to be all about you. Nobody else involved, just you. And in this era, it's like a reconstruction period of your mental and just you as a person. You're going to find that your job isn't for you and there's going to be a whole bunch of other changes in your life with people around you. Like that is exactly what she said in a nutshell, right? And in that time, I have come to fully realize and recognize that I do like this whole period of my life where it's just me doing my own thing. Just me, no relationship, no desire to have one. If it happens, it happens kind of ordeal. That hit pretty heavy for some reason. But I thought it was a crock of shit last year because I was like, whatever. Like, whatever. But then at the same time,
but then everything they said to us happens to be coming true.
right? Like I came to a realization back during tax season, which for those of you who do not know, I work for a CPA, a certified public accountant. So tax season is brutal. We spend long hours. We see so many people a day. We deal with so much bullshit. Let me just put it out there like that. And I came to this realization that I am unhappy. And I love the job strictly only because of the owners are super nice and my coworkers are awesome, but the work around all of that, you can only depend on atmosphere for so long. And I can't do it anymore. I can't deal with all these people. So it's very interesting because at that time when we went and had that reading done, I was like, no, I like my job. Like I had no thoughts or intention of leaving. And it's just so weird how it truly all has come to fruition.
You know what I thought of though? And I'm just putting this out there for like maybe the skeptics of this kind of stuff, okay? What if, even if you're a skeptic, even if you don't believe in like tarot card readings and whatnot, like what if at the bare minimum, because we were talking about human experience and stuff, right? At the bare minimum, all we needed was for somebody to believe in us that we could achieve these little things. And even if it wasn't someone that we know, like all you needed was a little shove, like somebody's like, yeah, this is what's happening. This is, you might be stuck in a rut and then this is where your goals are going. Like you just needed to hear it.
I agree with that.
I.e., the point I'm trying to make is basically just be kinder to each other,
You just never know. And I will never be that person that goes in somewhere and they're like, what the fuck? Blah, 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 blah. Where does that get you? Because like
I know, working in customer service of any kind, and when I say that I mean like such a broad thing, like it could be medical office, it could be you with your accounting / CPA office, or like grocery store workers, restaurant workers, like anybody who has to deal with the general public, working in that environment will make you a better human being because
100%.
of how other human beings treat people who are just trying to do their job, who are just trying to make a living, who are just trying to pay their bills and get by day by day. Like they always attack the people who can't make a change because it makes them feel better. But then you go talk to my manager, and then they're nice to your manager. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
It's insane. I could go on and on and on about it, but in a nutshell is that even though that we have this platform and we joke and we make jokes about Project Fear and all this kind of stuff, we're still human. We still have a day-to-day life, and that day-to-day life unfortunately takes up 8 to 9 hours of our day, maybe even more. And we experience things. We're just like you. So
Exactly. So this concludes our therapy session. My Venmo is... No, I'm just kidding.
Please send me $1, please, because I'm like broke.
Was your therapist for the day? I would like a coffee, please. At the bare minimum.
I do love coffee. No, I would never ask for
Just
anything.
kidding.
But...
No, actually, just pay for us to go to Jersey. How about that?
Yeah. That's a whole thing within itself.
Moving on.
That's a
we
whole
don't have to
thing.
go down that rabbit hole.
We don't. I do want to go to Jersey so bad, but
Me too. Hopefully we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Everything happens the way it's supposed to, so
100%. Yeah.
If we can't go, we can't go, I guess. It's fine. I'll just cry for like
Yeah.
3 months. No big deal.
No joke. Like, the main reason why I want to go is to see you guys again.
I know.
But
And Sheena. I miss
and
you,
Sheena,
Sheena.
yeah, there's also so many people that
Other Fear Fam members we haven't gotten to meet yet.
yeah, because when we went to Penhurst, there was just so much going on. And I know that between all of us, we were all so overwhelmed with how many people were there and how just there was a lot of people. I liked the Penhurst Paracon. It's just that to an extent, I mean, like I didn't enjoy every bit of it, but
I don't think we ever will, though. There's always going to be something.
there's always going to be something. We just kind of mentally checked out. There were so many people that we wanted to meet because there were quite a few people who went to Penhurst, but it just never works out how we want it to. We did get to see Sarah. Shout out to Sarah.
We saw Sarah. We saw Kennedy.
Melissa. Yeah, we did see Melissa.
I don't think we got to see anybody else we wanted to
That
see,
was
though.
pretty much it. Like,
I was like, I swear we saw more people than that, but we actually didn't.
yeah,
Like,
we
from
did.
the Fear Fam.
Yeah, we didn't go and stand in any lines or anything because, like, I'll stand in a line for Project Fear. Yeah, I'll do it. But, like, I just, it was raining and it was a long line and the food was just hot dogs and hamburgers. I wanted something more than that. And Boogany can't even eat that.
I was
You
gonna
can eat
say, I don't
hamburger.
know, again, because I feel like people are sick of me talking about it, but I'm like, I just wanted food in general.
Literally. So we went to Wawa.
I still couldn't get anything at fucking Wawa.
I know. That was fucking boof. But
It's okay, though. We went back to the hotel immediately afterwards. So. Your girl gotta eat, too.
yeah. But I like it. I like our cooking nights when we just, we're cooking
It's
for each
fun.
other.
We play house together. It's so cute.
Oh, and I will say this. Okay, so me and Berg, our birthdays are very close together. So in May, it had only been like, 2 or 3 months since both of our birthdays. And
Yeah.
so she did like a joint birthday gift kind of ordeal where she gave us both of our birthday gifts at the same time. And then she baked gluten-free, dairy-free
She
XXX.
made special cupcakes.
Those
No
cupcakes.
eggs, no dairy, no gluten.
They were good. It was a different
I keep
texture.
telling you. I tell people all the time because people are like, ew, gluten-free. I'm like, have you ever even tried it? It doesn't actually taste much different.
It was good. it was kind of one of those things for me though, where it was like it felt kind of dense. So I was just like, which had nothing to do with Jay, but I was just I was eating it and I was like, this is so good, but it's so kind of like a rich and dense.
Yeah, chocolate and
That's-
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but it was good though. Let me just say that.
Man, it's when you come to Wyoming, I'm gonna have mom make you like, she calls it faux fried chicken. So she makes us like our own like gluten-free breading for chicken. I'll have
Ooh.
her make you some of that. And then I'll have her make you like angel food cake and stuff. And it's like
Ooh,
all,
yeah.
dairy-free,
Oh.
gluten-free, all my allergy-frees and stuff. But I'm gonna just have mom make you mom food. And then you'll be just like, yeah, it's no different really.
Yeah, which is really cool. Things have changed so much in the last like even 5 years, I feel like, for all these allergies that are coming to light. But I think that's just the American experience. Dun 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 dun.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. Well, let's get into talking about Project Fear.
Yeah, should we actually do what our podcast is meant to do now? Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
If you guys like this and you like us talking a little bit more about life and stuff, let us know. Let us know if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you need your weekly therapy session with Mads and Berg and Jay when she comes back, let us know. We can do that for you.
We can do that for you.
We can do a spin-off. We'll do a spin-off podcast. We'll do like a little baby one, like 15 minutes long.
Oh, yeah.
It's your weekly therapy session.
Oh,
Keeping it real.
I have so many thoughts about where we can take this podcast one day to just kind
Or
of
do extra or different podcasts also.
yes, and just kind of connect with the audience that is
More.
the Fear Fam and just kind
Mhm.
of get on a even more personal level than even bringing the guest on. I mean, I have all these thoughts.
I know. Well, here's the thing though, is when Project Fear is in the off season, between road trips and stuff, we're gonna have to figure out something. Unless we wanted to just do only when they're releasing episodes. But I didn't think that was our plan all along. So
No, was
we can
not.
do all of these cool ideas you have in the interim. You know, it's like our version of Blue Balls.
Let me tell you, we're just as chaotic, if you haven't figured that out yet.
Sometimes I like to think that we are the female versions of Alex, Dakota, and Tanner. So
Literally,
I feel like I don't know who's who. I would love to know in our audience who you think is who, just out of pure curiosity. So back to actual topic here. Matt, I would like to know your overall thoughts and opinions of this episode. Do you want me to go first? I'll go first. I don't have thoughts and opinions today. No, for real though, as per usual, fucking smashed it. Dakota did such a great job editing, and everybody's gonna be like, you know, Connor edits too. But there's a reason that we're saying Dakota did such a great job editing, and if you'd like to know what that is, you have to be in the Fear Club. I don't know what to tell you.
true. But also, yeah, shout out to Dakota. We appreciate
Shout
you,
out
buddy.
Dak. Shout out Dak. Don't know if you'll ever hear this. Hope you do, but you fucking smashed it. I just really enjoy, like, I think we've said this multiple times now, but I'll continue to fucking say it until I'm blue in the face. Project Fear is so much better than Destination Fear, and I just really enjoy that we get to see more of them being just themselves. Their personalities are coming out more, and I feel like it's actually making them stronger investigators all around, all across the board. Everything is, every week a new episode comes out, and every week you can just see how much better this is and will continue to be.
I couldn't have said it any better because I was going to go down that route as well. I've been loving just getting to see the real side of them that maybe everybody hasn't seen yet. It's awesome. I love it. Especially the beginning of the episode where it was just pure like
Chaos.
chaos and comedy.
Yeah. So somebody on my Facebook post, I posted in the Dakota Lighting group on Facebook, telling people to give Dak appreciation for this episode and just everything he does in general. And somebody did comment and they said that they want less of like the traveling and stuff like that. And I actually don't agree with that. Like I get it's not for everybody. I know I get we can't make everyone happy. And I say we. I have nothing to do with that. But I mean, it translates into, you know, us with our podcast. Eventually people aren't gonna like what we're doing. It's just bound to happen when you do stuff like this. Shout out to that person because he said he just fast forwards the parts that he doesn't like and he still watches. So that's cool. He's still supporting, right? But I mean, I do enjoy us seeing more of them being authentically them. I prefer it this way. So
Me too.
it's just differing opinions and that's fine.
Agreed. But getting into that, what was your favorite moment from the episode? Because I'll just go ahead and go out and say this because this was actually so insane. So I thought it was interesting the correlation of Tanner and Chelsea's flashlights blinking and dying. Okay. When they were in two completely separate areas, like the energy feeding off of their flashlight energy, that's not a coincidence.
That actually had me fucked up, bro. I was like, okay, when Chelsea's happened, I was like, what? But then Tanner's happened and I was like, it happened to Chelsea too, though. Like, what the heck is happening?
Right. And so I made another connection. I think it was at the Sweet Springs episode. It was like episode 1 or 2, where there was another sort of like correlation going on with like trying to isolate everybody. I don't know if you've noticed how in the paranormal, it seems like there's a lot of correlations there with some of the evidence that people catch. It's like the same sort of scenario, which I think further proves the existence of the paranormal. But what do I know?
I mean, yeah, literally though. And people can be skeptical and people can be naysayers and that's fine. But I agree with you, Mads. I think it just furthers the proof that something's happening.
I mean, it proves that it's not a coincidence for it to be happening continuously, even though it's different, scenarios happening at different locations. It still just is not a coincidence for it to be a repetitive sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Something correlating is happening here.
It's crazy. What's your favorite moment?
It is crazy. Actually, I'm gonna take the funny route. I'm gonna say the whole Airbnb moment.
Oh yeah,
Just everything that was happening there, from like the bunk beds to like the fact we actually got to see Connor a little bit. The whole cuddle session with Alex and Connor and Tanner. And Tanner, what did he say? Stop spying on us cuddling. And then Alex just like, Dakota was like, what are you doing? And he's like, guarding. And poor Chelsea's just like, is this what guys do for fun? She's like, what am I witnessing right now?
She did say something about like the
When
girlfriend.
girlfriends, yeah. Because she's like, girlfriends are all worried about their boyfriends cheating on them, and this is what they're actually doing.
Anyway,
Anyways, so Matt, what's your favorite evidence from this episode? I
okay.
know a lot of people are like expecting one or all of us to say the photo evidence, but I
No.
feel like it's not that for me, and I'm still trying to process that. Honestly, I almost don't want to talk about it. Like it's like I'm
Yeah.
still processing.
I don't know how I feel about that in general. I don't know.
It's
Like,
creepy. I just don't have words for it, so
yeah, I guess that.
I'm just gonna breeze on by that one.
Yeah.
I actually, again, I don't know. Maybe I think the PS device might be becoming my favorite.
Yes, that's what I was
My
gonna say.
favorite equipment. Because when Tanner went up to the second floor alone and Dag was below him and then they're sitting there, just the responses they were getting off of that. You know, because I'm always like, well, the Ovilus is so cool and it always comes through. Well, the PS device is kind of like the Ovilus on steroids. And yeah, it's quickly becoming my favorite. You know, when Tanner was talking about like, why don't you like trespassers, I think is what they said, and it said it was angry, and then they were asking if it remembered Tanner, and it was like chest and near death, and then it actually said memory.
Yeah.
Like, what the what? That was my favorite evidence.
Yeah, that was definitely one that I wanted to hit on if neither of us brought that up. But I will say, okay, the PS device is really cool. I know I said that in a past episode here on the podcast. I really enjoy the PS device. I love it actually. But I also like the mail meter. That's really cool too. So they introduced the mail meter, they sat it down, and Tanner asked the question, were you upset that we took a photo of you last time? And it went off, right? And then Dakota kind of repeated the question a little while later, just in a different way. And then it went off again. So something was definitely upset that they caught a picture of whatever it was.
Well, and then they caught another picture afterwards. So
Yeah.
interesting.
So very interesting.
Okay, should we get into some honorable mentions?
Let's talk about honorable mention.
I have a great one. I don't know if you have any, but I know I was like, I know exactly which one I want to bring up.
Please enlighten
The
me.
fact that Tanner put in the packet read about Dakota tripping over the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
That was like my second favorite moment.
Oh my God. That was so funny.
I was like, yeah, Tanner, fucking call his ass out. Let's never forget about the toilet situation.
Yeah, that honestly, the toilet situation, I replay that shit sometimes. Like, I'll just randomly think about it. And I'm kind of a psychopath. So, like, if I randomly think about something, I will laugh out loud. I'll be like, ha ha ha. And it's just pure silence. I mean, that's just something I have always done. So, yeah, that has been a repetitive memory of mine.
It lives rent free in your brain.
Oh, I got one. Okay.
Gets all depressed. Has to think about Dakota tripping over a toilet at Joliet Prison.
Okay, so I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed stuff like this all the time. When they were all like all the crew, they were standing outside of were they outside? They were standing fucking somewhere, okay? And Dakota reached out to fist bump Chelsea and she completely ignored him.
Wait, really?
Yes. Oh, that was funny.
See, this is another reason I'm glad we're not recording on Fridays anymore, because like I get off work, and as Mads knows, but not everybody knows, sometimes I work late. Like one Friday I was at work until 8 p.m.
Like, no thanks.
So I like normally don't leave until maybe 6. And so like go home, get my dogs. Last night I recorded at mom's house when we recorded our portion with Drew. So I have to go home, get my dogs, get my shit, go to my mom's house, then we have to eat dinner and watch the episode. And then I try to take notes for the podcast and record my mom and pay attention to the episode all at the same time. And sometimes I just miss shit like that. So if we don't record on Fridays, it's a little less chaotic because I can go watch with my parents, enjoy that, and then rewatch if I didn't feel like I paid enough attention before we record our podcast.
Agreed. Because, like, there's other stuff that we have to do too. It's not me ranting or being a weenie. It's just that, and on Fridays too, like, I also try to go to the grocery store. Last night I went out to dinner and we were going to go see the Barbie movie, but we ended up not being able to see it yesterday. So we're going to go see it tonight. So it's just, you know, stuff like that because time goes by so quick and you run out of time really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so many hours in a day.
Back to honorable mentions. The fact that Tanner wanted to go to the second floor alone, Like, good for him because he wanted redemption, but also, what the fuck is wrong with you, Tanner? Like,
I know.
these guys are just so brave. Sometimes I'm like, how you do that?
They've grown so much.
They really have, and it's so cool. And I'm so glad that we got to be a part of this journey and watch the whole process.
I know, right? We're 4 years in.
That is insane. You know what? Because you just said that, I think we should talk about the fact that yesterday, 7/21, was our anniversary
Oh,
of meeting in person.
yeah.
We were friends for 3 years, and we met in person for the first time a year ago.
That was
How fucking cool.
insane. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, it's been a year. It doesn't feel like
it.
that. No, not at all.
But part of why it doesn't feel like that is because I've seen you 3 times in that year.
Literally. The first time that we ever met, I had so much anxiety because I was
And doubts.
doubts
Because you grow up your whole life, you grow up like, don't meet people from the internet, don't talk to strangers.
Yes.
What did I do? I got on a plane, flew off by myself to go meet strangers from the fucking internet.
Yes. And
It's like, it goes against everything you were told as a child
yeah,
to do.
it was so funny because once we all got together and we got to our Airbnb and all that kind of stuff, we all had to sit there and pretty much collectively tell our parents that we were fine. We'll keep them in the loop.
Not murdered yet.
But all of our parents had they were all on standby, and we didn't know it until that Saturday or something, because we flew in on a Thursday.
Yeah. It's like, no, Mom, don't worry. They haven't drugged me. I've not been murdered yet. I think it's okay.
Literally, you know what my mom did? This is actually so funny. I don't even know if I ever told you this, because obviously I was friends with you guys on Facebook. My mom found you guys on Facebook, screenshotted, and made sure that she had who I was with. And then she went on to Live 360. She zoomed in and screenshotted all of my locations. She was like,
Oh, I love that.
she was being ultra. She felt a little bit better because I wasn't alone. I was with Amanda.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that me and Jamie both had. She had Joe, I had Amanda, you had just yourself.
I had no one. I was literally like, hopefully they don't murder me. Bye.
I know. But I wasn't really scared about that as much as I was afraid I wasn't going to be what you guys thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
And
no, that's the actual real reality. I never thought I could be, this might be the end of my life. No,
right.
That's just a joke. That's literally just a joke.
It's just a joke, but our parents did not
literally
take it lightly.
You don't know. Sometimes people are one way on the internet and you meet them in person and you're like,
yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
So you just don't know. And we all committed to staying in the same Airbnb together for 5 days. And you're going into this, if this doesn't work out, it's going to be hella fucking awkward.
Yep, it's true. And that's another thing too. We all had our own bedrooms. We went out of our way to make sure we all would have our own space just for that purpose.
Just in case, if these people are fucking weird, I'm just gonna sit in this room for 5 days by myself.
Literally. But I'm so glad it didn't turn out that way at all.
I mean, it was a little bit, the only awkward part really was when we first all got in the car and we were just like, wow, this is actually happening. This is your face in real life.
We were all so tired. I did not sleep that night before because, fun fact, I flew for the first time going to Jersey. So I was so nervous about it. Amanda loves flying. So she's like, you're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. I know
I love flying too.
So it ended up being fine, but I didn't eat. I couldn't eat. I was so nervous. I literally, on our way to the airport, I was trying to eat and I could not. My brother drove us and he looked over at me and he was like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, I literally can't swallow. I was like, I'm so nervous. It feels like my throat is so tight. My stomach is in knots. And I had to keep going to the bathroom at the fucking airport because that is how nervous I was.
Oh, I get nervous bladder so bad. They'll be like, we're boarding the plane. I will literally look at my ticket and it says board time this time, and I will go to the bathroom right before that, and then they're like, we're boarding the plane, and I'm always group 4 boarding because I'm a cheap ass, so I get the cheapest seat I can.
Yeah,
because I'm fairly small, so it doesn't matter to me room and stuff wise at this point in my life anyways. They'll get to okay, boarding group 2, and I'm like, fuck, I have to pee again. I just went 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that was such. By that time we had all gotten together, we were not exactly all in it, which is kind of sad, but it still ended up being fine. But I remember that night we got Pizza Hut because it was all Bird could eat.
Well, we didn't want to cook, so I was like, you know what? I can get chicken wings from Pizza Hut with no sauce on it if you guys want pizza. Anybody who's not a part of our fucking group, we compromise with each other, okay? Anyways.
Yeah, we make it work.
I remember you and Amanda were like, we're so exhausted, we're going to bed, and me and Jamie and Joe just like stayed in the living room and we just like laid on the floor together.
I felt so bad because I wanted to stay up with you guys, but I literally could not do it anymore. Like my head was pounding so hard from just the anxiety from the night before, not feeling well because I was having anxiety. And I was just like, okay, I stayed up pretty late though. It was like 12:30 to 1.
Yeah, it was 12:30 or 1 when you guys went to bed.
And I was like, sorry guys, like I want to stay up, but I really need to sleep. And I passed the fuck out for like 12 hours. I think we all did.
Yeah, me and Jamie and Joe stayed up for a little while because I think we were still on like the adrenaline rush of like, holy shit, this is happening.
Yeah.
And so we were just chilling, but we just laid on the floor like with our heads close together.
Oh,
we just talked.
I didn't even know.
You didn't know? Here, I have the photo. I'll send it to you.
Oh my gosh,
There's like
please.
a photo of us just laying on the floor together.
I love that so much. And meanwhile, I'm fucking passed the fuck out.
You
for real.
Just sleeping.
I couldn't help it though. It was literally affecting, like I was physically sick at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I have got to just go to sleep.
Oh yeah, then we went to the beach. The beach that was gross.
Staten Island. Ugh.
No standing in Staten Island.
No, you literally
to stand.
No standing. Not just that, it was so hot, and that orange sand made it even worse because it must retain the heat or something. I don't fucking know. It was so hot, like it was hotter than any sand I've ever touched. And I go to the beach pretty frequently, let me just tell you that. But I was like, holy shit, it was so far out there to the ocean. And then it was so nasty. There's like syringes and condoms and
yeah, it was gross.
Do you remember when we kept thinking that we saw the Statue of Liberty and it was nowhere in that vicinity?
It's the Statue of Liberty. And we're like, there's a green thing that's sticking up. I think that's it. And it never, like, do you remember when we thought we saw it? And it was actually just cranes.
I mean, to be fair, it was there was one time where we were like, okay, that actually is where it should be because we could see the New
cranes.
Yeah.
We were like, that is the proper direction. That might be it. And then we go and we drive in that general vicinity.
And it was
like,
nowhere.
It's machinery. And we're like, that's not the Statue of Liberty at all.
But it had oxidized to be the same color. So
yeah,
it was like the weirdest thing. But we could see the New York City skyline. Like we could see Empire State Building, like all that stuff. So we were like, okay, well, we know where the Statue of Liberty is. It's like right in front of it, close to it at least. That was funny.
Do you remember when Chris and Riley and Steve were coming and we just kept staring out the window? We're like, is that them? Is that them? Is that them? And then it was them and we were like, oh my god! And we got all nervous and like ran away from the window.
I literally hid in my room.
Like ran. We were like, and there they are. And they looked up and we like took off. It's like little kids when somebody knocks on the door and you look out the window and then they look at you and you're like, oh, and you like close the curtain. Except we were on the fourth floor. So for context,
God, that was so funny. But yeah. Anyway,
any more honorable mentions we want to discuss? We're all over the place today, but it's fine.
That's fine. You know, the Alex crying montage at the very
that was
so funny.
That was great. That was great, and it was like I'm like that would be me too. Are you sad? I'm upset. And then he tells Tanner to bury her in a coffin, and Tanner's like, anything for you. That whole moment was just great.
I do have another thing. Okay, so with Alex and Chelsea, they kept having like that walkie interference.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy because it's just something that, again, it's not a coincidence. It just kept repeatedly happening.
Well, and if you pair that, though, with the flashlight situation,
yeah,
like it kept affecting. When something has enough energy to affect your technology, I feel like that just kind of makes it like on a whole nother level.
Yeah, it kind of makes it worse.
Yeah, because it's more amped up.
Scary. Spooky, scary.
Spoopy. I don't know if there's any other honorable mentions. When they're going up that staircase that they hadn't seen yet, and they're like, this is for science.
Oh, yeah. And then they go up there, and the floor is like completely, or like not the floor, I'm sorry.
The whole building's just collapsing.
Yeah. That is scary.
And they're like, we should get off this floor. I'm like, wow, you guys do have brains. That was a bit aggressive. I apologize. An actual good idea for once, Dakota. Another thing I thought of honorable mention wise when Tanner and Dakota were taking photos and they were like, oh, nothing there, nothing there. And Tanner's like, except a stud muffin. Yeah, that cracked me up. Tanner. Yeah, Tanner, you keep that confidence.
Hell
Hell yeah. You know what else I did want to talk about? I found it intriguing that Alex and Chelsea were the ones paired together after what happened at Old Hospital on College Hill.
I know. Isn't that interesting?
I was like, did you do that on purpose?
Yes.
You're like, they're not getting along, you know, so we have to, it's like when you and your siblings don't get along as a child and your mom's like, I'll duct tape you together.
Oh, God.
Chelsea's like, Alex annoys me. And Tanner's like, you know what? You guys can go together.
That's kind of funny.
It is. But they were fine, so obviously they're over it already.
Yeah, they were just like, whatever.
I just was like, ooh, interesting. Oh, one more thing. One more honorable mention. When Alex asked Tanner to do the war cry, and he sounded like a pterodactyl.
Yes! That was so funny.
I was like, he literally sounds like a fucking dinosaur. Like, my note about the photo that they caught, literally all I wrote was head in photo.
Head in photo.
Head, photo, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Oh, yeah. I literally don't have anything else left to share because while in the midst of everything yesterday, I was getting ready. So I was watching it while I was getting ready. So I just wrote down what really, really stuck out to me. So I don't have anything left.
Nice. Okay.
All right, babes. I would like to introduce our special guest, Drew. Hi, Drew. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm so excited.
Little Drew.
I can't believe I won that contest. Honestly, I never win anything. So when I submitted it, I was like, I know the answer.
I'm glad you won.
Thanks.
Literally same.
Drew, please enlighten us on how you became a fan of Destination Fear in the first place, aka Project Fear.
Yeah, so I actually started when I saw Dakota on Ghost Adventures, and so I go back way to the short films YouTube series. I watched the intro video that he did with the spoof to win the contest to be on his show, and I was hooked. I was like, who is this hottie? And so, young self was like, let's figure out who this is. And then he was actually really funny. So I followed him way back then. So here I am to this day. I just can't stay away.
Hook, line, and sinker.
That's right.
Oh, God. I love that.
Okay, Drew, what was your favorite moment from this episode?
Ooh, I had two. Probably my favorite was when Dakota ran into the building looking for the toilet, and he was like, "Where is it, bitch?" I was literally laughing out loud.
So aggressive.
It was so aggressive. And then I think my other favorite part was when Alex said to Chelsea that she's a badass chicken bitch.
I know.
What?
My mom was like, did he just call her a chicken bitch? And I was like, yep. Sure did.
That's
It
hilarious.
was just like so pure and like wholesome. I just can't get enough of the banter.
It's like, that's what I love about Project Fear so much more is we just get to see more of them being them.
I agree.
And you've met them in person as well, so like you get it. You're like, this is literally what they are like in person. It's like literally the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's when they were on Destination Fear, it was so hard to tell like who they were as individuals because we only saw what TV wanted to air or what they were allowed to air. And then when you met them in person, I'm like, wow, you guys are so different than you are on TV. And then now that the Project Fear is out, it's like, whoa, you guys are literally me. Like, they're just so relatable, and I just love that more for them and for us.
That's what I love too, is like, I'm like, they have my sense of humor.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally. It's so funny how like our sense of humor It goes so well with theirs. It's just so insane. Talk about like some jokes going.
I just love this. In the famous words of Madeline, it's fucking awesome.
It's fucking awesome.
Okay, Drew, what was your favorite evidence?
You know, there was so much, but I think my very favorite was when they heard the moan. Alex and Chelsea heard the moan in the hallway twice. I had chilled to my bone. Like, I was so scared. I don't think I moved for like 5 minutes. I was so scared. I don't know what it is about audible voices that terrify me the most. It's like I can deal with pretty much everything else. It's just the audible voices is what terrifies me the most.
It's just something about them being disembodied. It's like,
Yeah.
Like the fact that you know that nobody else is there. I think that's like, and you can't locate a physical person that would have made that noise. There's nothing similar around in the area that would have made anything like that sound. I think it's like when you can't find the real answer to it is what makes it the most scary to me.
that's fair. Like that, the second one especially, it was so clear. I honestly thought that like Tanner and Dakota were just coming in and hadn't radioed them to tell them. Like it was just such a clear, crisp sound. I was
Yes.
like,
I
they
agree.
just came over from wherever they were, and where were they, in the hospital, I think, and they just like walked over and they were like coming into the building to go tell them something, and it was just gonna be them walking in from the darkness, and that did not happen.
That's exactly what I thought too,
Right.
Berg.
And could
just
you
like-
imagine like
yeah.
being there in the complete darkness and that happening? Like, I don't
No.
know.
No, I do not want to. Thank you. I
No,
will
thank
pee
you.
my pants.
Hard pass.
Literally, piss myself.
Ew. Clean it up.
You know what would be even freakier though is if you didn't. I feel like it'd almost be worse if you didn't expect them to come out, like Tanner and Dakota, and then you heard that, and then they did come out because you wouldn't know it was them at first. It's just like a shadow in the darkness.
Oh God.
That would probably maybe freak me out even more than just a disembodied voice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've always had this fear of actually seeing something, which I've went into that in like our very first episode of the podcast. But like, I mean, I have seen things before. Like I've seen a full body apparition. I'm actually at my mom's house recording right now. I saw a full body apparition in this house because it was my grandmother's house. Okay. And ever since then, I'm like, please, I don't want to see anything. I'm terrified to see any full body apparition, shadows. Like, no, 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 please, no. So if I had seen that in a location like that, I would have pooped my pants.
Yeah, I think that's pretty scary too, honestly. Like, if you can't rule out what it is, I don't think it would initially freak me out because I would probably think it's myself, like, moving around. And then
Yeah.
I would probably pee my pants once I figured out it's not me. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you guys ever do the thing where you're like, hopefully I don't sound like a crazy person right now, where you're ever like going to fall asleep and you close your eyes and you like envision that something or some face is staring at you, and your
Yes.
mind like almost makes up like this creepy face looking at you, and you have to like open your eyes to make sure it's not actually there?
Yes.
It's almost
do
like
that
a
weight walking.
feeling. Yeah, it's like a feeling that something's over you, and then you just can't unpicture what you think is there.
Yeah, but it's always really like menacing and creepy.
Yes.
Right.
Why are you so mad at me? Like,
Just try to go to
Stop.
sleep.
yeah, just let me go to sleep.
Let me have happy dreams.
Yeah.
Happy dreams, please. But that's how it was when I was a kid and I took a shower. I never would close my eyes in the shower. Like, because I was so afraid I would see something come up in the shower. No joke.
I
Like,
do that sometimes too, though. Still, I'm like shampooing, and I'm like, my eyes have
Yes.
been closed too long, and there's a murderer standing behind me.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that would scare me as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I have a question for you, Drew.
Hit me.
Okay. So,
I
what?
don't condone violence. We will not hit you.
Boogie. I was all in my podcast voice, and you're like, we don't condone violence.
She said hit me. Don't do that.
I mean,
Okay. Sorry, I literally derailed everybody. But
so and you may have many, but what is one paranormal experience that you had that was the most memorable for you?
This was actually a really good question, and there's only one that I can think of that really sits with me forever. I don't think I could ever forget it. So bear with me on this one. We were at a public event at Rhodes Hotel in Atlanta, Indiana. It was a public group event. So there was, like 15, 20 people there. A large group of people were downstairs, and then upstairs, there's like a bunch of rooms that you can sleep in overnight while you do your investigation. So there were a small handful of us upstairs, and I was in a side bedroom doing an Estes session. I had the headphones on. I couldn't hear anything. There was a couple people out in the hallway recording, asking questions. Unbeknownst to me, one person asked if the spirits could do something to scare me out of the session. And I felt something touching my head. It literally felt like, like if you take like a couple pieces of your hair and you just kind of gently pull on it. It's literally what it felt like. It felt like somebody was like just taking my hair and just playing with it. It was the weirdest feeling. And I kept putting my hand back behind my head and I couldn't feel anything. I was like, what in the hell is going on? Well, so I got the chills, I'm just chilling. I'm trying to stay calm. And probably like 10 minutes go by, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear this like screech or loudest scream, but it was only in my left ear, and it was so quick. I literally screamed so loud, I ripped my headphones off, and I immediately started bawling. I have no idea what just came over me, but I was like embarrassingly crying, and everyone ran into the room because they thought I was hurt, and I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I'm just like sobbing. I don't know what's happening, but like it was such an overwhelming feeling all at one time. I can't explain it. It was something I can never forget. It felt like something was not in my headphone, but like in my actual ear. It was so bizarre.
Oh,
dude, that actually kind of gave me chills.
Yeah, same.
Like it was just that feeling, like, where you're not alone. And I slept in that room by myself with the lights on the entire night.
Okay, at least you left the lights on. I thought you were going to say I slept in that room by myself the entire night and just leave it there. And I was like, what?
Well, I had my light on my phone on. It wasn't actual lights in the room. So like I left my phone light on because I was so scared. I was like, I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and something's going to just be laying in my bed. I don't know what's going on here. It was a crazy place. If you ever get a chance to investigate it, I 100% hope that you do, because it is jam-packed full of evidence.
Oh, you are braver than I am.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, Eloise, they made me sit in the tunnels by myself for an Estes method, and I was sitting in the chair by myself with my back to the like long hallway, and everybody else walked away. I wasn't scared until I felt something rush behind me, and then I was like, what the hell was that? And then all of the freaking REM pods around me went off consecutively, like it was walking around me. It was so freaking weird.
Oh,
Drew,
no.
No.
It was so weird.
Why? Oh my gosh.
I thrive in this type of environment. I love that adrenaline rush.
Okay, Dakota. Jeez,
Twinsies.
good God. You're freaking me out, man.
I know. I feel like I'm kind of a hypocrite because I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally want to do this. And then like I get to a haunted.
Say that
Yeah.
until you have to go and do it.
Exactly. And then it comes time, like I know that in the places that I've been at in Charleston, like the haunted locations there, the energy is so overwhelming to me. It makes me like violently have like the worst anxiety ever because it's so heavy. I couldn't even imagine just doing it all the time. I would probably just cry every single time. You'll just find me in the corner.
Yeah. I feel like I pick up on like energies. I feel like some buildings I walk into, I get like physically sick. Like if I open my mouth, I'm going to barf everywhere. Like I can't, I have to remove myself sometimes, and I have to go outside and ground myself, and then I come back in and I'm okay. It's so overwhelming, and I've never been able to figure out why it was like that, but it's only certain places. It's not every place I go to. So I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me?
Yeah. I mean, like when we went to Pinhurst, I at first didn't think I felt anything, when we got on the property. But then we went into the Mayflower building and all of a sudden, like we were all like feeling a dizzy kind of feeling. I thought that it was just me because I am just a sleepy bitch. And I was like, huh, it's probably because I'm tired and we've been drinking at night and we're not sleeping and we're not probably eating the way that we should. And I just thought it was me. So I remember I turned to the girls and I was like, does anybody else feel a little bit like dizzy or something? And they were like, yeah, we do.
That's crazy.
Well, Jamie also had like that weird, what'd she say? She had like a weird pressure or pain.
Yeah. And then I got a headache.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to send you guys the video of another investigation that I did prior to all of me starting all of this, but it is the creepiest freaking thing you'll ever see. It was an Estes method again, and oh my gosh, like that's by far my favorite method to use when investigating. I feel like it's like pretty foolproof. I mean, you can't hear anybody, especially if you're in a separate room. Like there's no faking that.
Yeah.
Like I think like you said, it's good evidence and there's no faking that, and I can see that for sure. But like if I had to do it, I feel like I would be terrified.
It's intimidating at first, but I feel like once you do it once, you're like, oh, okay, it's not so bad.
Yeah, I kind of want to do it so bad. Like I really do.
If you're the one under, you'd be all right.
Yeah, Mads, you be the blindfolded one, and I'll be the one asking the questions.
Yeah, I would rather be the blindfolded one. That's the most intriguing and appealing part to me, is being blindfolded and having the headphones in. I want to do that.
So a little backstory for you guys. I am 27 years old, and I'm afraid of the dark, and let me tell you why. In high school, in my sophomore year of high school, we had a PE teacher that had us play tag in the dark, and we went down to the wrestling room, and in the wrestling room there's 2 cement pillars in the middle of the room, because it was like in the basement of the school, so like support beams in the middle of the wrestling room.
What?
Yeah, and so we went in there and he closed the door and he would turn the light on every 15 seconds, like flick it on and back off. And he said, literally in his words, so your eyes cannot adjust to the dark. And we're playing co-ed tag in the dark.
That's major ick.
As you can imagine. So we're all shuffling around in the dark and we're like trying to play fucking tag. And I just felt something hit my face. And I was like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden, like, my lip was, like, really wet.
Ew.
And I was like, this is weird. So I start making my way towards what I think is the door, right? And he flicked the light on. I'm like, cool, I'm going the right direction. So I get over to him and I'm like, I think I'm bleeding. And he's like, what? And I was like, I think my face is bleeding. And he's like, okay, go to the nurse, I guess. So he lets me out. And I'm going up the stairs. And one of the other PE teachers, she comes around the corner and literally says, holy fuck. And I'm just like gushing blood from my nose, and I just like, it's so much that I'm just like holding my hands like probably a foot below my face, just like it's pooling in my hands. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just like walking up the stairs like, my face is bleeding. And she's like, holy fuck. She takes me to the bathroom and like starts cleaning me up. And I was like kind of afraid to look at myself in the mirror because I'm like, this is not good. And so I go to the nurse, and one of my classmates had just gone like 5 minutes before me because like somebody hit her forehead. So like somebody's tooth like gouged out a little chunk of like her forehead.
Oh my gosh.
I broke my nose, the middle part, all the way up. Yeah, somebody's shoulder hit my face, is what I could gather based off.
Dude, that's intense.
Yeah, the middle part of my nose broke, and it went all the way up. I had bruises for 4 months. Like one would go away and a new one would come in. I had one on my cheek that actually made like a little swirl. It was bad. It was like the worst pain of my life, minus like kidney stones. And yeah, so sometimes when I get like super pitch black dark, I kind of like flinch a little. I'm like, what? Something's gonna hit my face. It freaks me out.
Bro, there's so many red flags like went up before that. Like, excuse me, we're doing what?
Yeah, he got in big trouble.
As he should.
I hope so, yeah. Yeah.
And other people, like multiple people went to the nurse injured that day.
God.
Like, it doesn't even make sense why anybody would want to do that.
No.
I dropped his class.
Yeah, I would.
I was like, I'm dropping PE. And they didn't argue, the school didn't argue with me. I think I had been past the deadline too. And they were like, yep, it's fine. I was like, yeah, better be.
Right.
So yeah, anyways, sometimes I get afraid of the dark moral of the story. Still as a 27-year-old, like flinch, feel like something's gonna hit my face. So
I feel like that's valid.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a traumatic experience for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of the dark. I have to sleep in pitch dark, otherwise I get angry.
Sleeping bitch, it comes out.
Wait, but every time that we've stayed like together, except at like my house, you sleep in the dark, right? Or
Yeah, but it's like,
well, you leave the
It's like-
TV on. You leave the TV on.
no, I shut the TV off in the hotel room, bro. I was like, this is too fucking bright. It's right in my face. I don't know if you noticed, but I cover my eyes with like a pillow or the sheet.
Hell no. I was too busy being knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, but when we were in Pennsylvania, I did the lights were off, but I think that there was like enough light under the door from the hallway in the hotel room that I was like,
Okay.
it's not pitch black in here.
Yeah.
Like I could see a source of light, so I'm like, if something does happen, I can find my way out of this room.
God. Ugh.
But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's if I'm by myself, I just get like freaked out.
It's valid. I mean,
Yeah. But
understand.
like when I'm with people and it's pitch black, I will like if my eyes aren't adjusting and it's pitch black, I'm like I will start grabbing onto people. Like if we were walking in the tunnels, Mads, and I actually couldn't see anything, I would have been like grabbing your arm. I would have been like, guide me.
Dude, man.
Be my seeing eye, Mads.
The tunnels are so creepy. I don't like that. I do not like that. Thinking about it right now, and it's like, what time is it? It's like midnight. It's I don't want to think about it. Funny enough, though, I'd never felt what you guys felt in the hotel room, but I felt
Dude, you
shit
were
there.
fucking TKO, like knocked the fuck out though. So
Yeah.
Drew, do you have any questions you would like to ask us?
Yeah, actually. I have two. I have both of you can answer. Who would you investigate with from the crew if you had your choice and why?
Oh, I like this question.
But go first.
I only like it because it's a good question. That sounded creepy.
It's
Not
a
creep.
good question.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many different ways you could go with this. If I had to pick one, I think I would pick Alex, honestly, because like in person, I feel like him and I personality wise are a lot alike, so I feel like we would just like goof off and make jokes the whole time.
Yeah.
That is so fucking true. God, I don't even know. Like, I want to say, I think I would want to investigate with Chelsea because I don't know. Like, she's been getting a little bit. Okay, how do I put this? She is getting a little bit scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's really come out.
Yeah. And
Like full throttle.
I feel like I would love for her to just kind of like test my limits because Dakota would just do something stupid like, okay, well, it's just you and me now. So I have an idea. You go in the body cooler and I'm going to lock you in and you're going to be in there. Or he would say something like, you're going to go in this very scary area. That's the scariest of like scariest places ever in this place. So it's like super duper scary. Like, I don't know if we're getting it, but it's scary and you're going to be by yourself and I'm going to leave you alone. So have fun. Like, I want to say him because he's investigated longer than the others and he was trained by the worst.
But I feel like Dakota is the safe and obvious answer for a lot of people.
But he's not though.
I know.
He's really not. Like, I would be too scared. I feel like he would do a 180 and he'd be like, well, we're alone now. Uno reverse, bitch. Go in that dark corner over there.
See, that's another reason I also want to go with Al is because, like, kind of because of Destination Fear. I feel like he started out, like, a little bit, I don't know what the best terminology to use would be, but he was, like, kind of the underdog, and, like, I don't feel like he gets as much attention as he deserves.
Yeah.
That's another reason I would pick him. But I'm curious, Drew, what's your answer to your own question?
Oh, Uno
Uno reverse, bitch.
plot twist. You know, Dakota is very similar to me. I feel like I can relate more to him. So that's probably why I wouldn't pick him, because I feel like we're both very similar. I would pick Tanner, honestly, because I think that Tanner is very level headed. He's very relaxed. And I feel like I need someone who's strong like that will balance me out, because I'm chill myself, but I get really jumpy in those situations. So I feel like Tanner would be like that security blanket, you know?
Yep, Big Daddy Tanner.
That's right.
Big Daddy Tanner.
For real. That's a good answer. For real. While you were saying that, I was thinking about a little bit more depth of why I would choose Chelsea. It's more so like the whole like pushing to the limits kind of thing. She has a valid reason why she does it. She's more of like the whole, okay, so we're in this to experiment fear, right? We're in it to test it. So let's get into this. Whereas the others, Dakota and Alex, pointing at you, Tanner's just more of like, okay, like whatever, it's funny, haha. But Chelsea has like a valid reason as to why she wants to do things. And that's another reason why I just wanted to add that, why I would choose her.
I also think that she's very, what's the word? Not necessarily skeptical, but she tries to find other reasonings for what could be causing these sounds or these things that she sees. Like, she tries to look for the realistic approach as opposed to automatically just saying, oh, it's a demon. Oh, it's something spiritual. She tries to look for an answer, and I really like that too.
Yeah.
She's trying to keep it a little bit more rational.
Yes.
Agreed.
Are you ready for my second question?
Yes.
$1 million question.
Oh no, is it gonna be fuck, marry, kill? No, just kidding.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. That is so funny to say that, because I literally almost put that down.
We'll answer that afterwards, but we're not leaving that in.
Right.
We'll stop recording. That'll be off the record.
Absolutely. But my question would be, if you could go to any haunted, abandoned building with no limitations, no reasons holding you back, you had the time, you have the money, and you were taking your person that you chose, where would you go?
Oh, shit. That's such a good question. Holy shit.
Listen, I'm full of 90% shit, but about 10% good ideas and questions, so we gotta roll with it.
Wow, you really are like the female Dakota.
So my dream as a historian, I am very into my line of history that I'm so into is medieval British history. It's like chocolate cake with like extra chocolate and like whipped cream and fudge and all the fun stuff for me. Like, that shit is my jam. So I think wherever I choose would be somewhere, and it may not be abandoned, but you just never know with the UK, but specifically Britain. Man, just somewhere where it's embodies like all of the medieval goodness, like a castle or a fort or something that's out there. I would love to investigate that and just visit in general, because like that kind of stuff is just chef's kiss for me. Like, I would eat that up.
That's fair. I accept that.
I love that.
I wish I had a specific location in mind, but there's so many places.
You know, I have an answer, but I can't tell you why, but this place has just always intrigued me, but I want to go to the Myrtles plantation.
Ooh.
Okay.
I can't really tell you why though.
I love that for you.
I can't dive deep for you on that. I just have always been like, that place is so fucking cool to me.
Hey, and it doesn't always have to have a reason why. You know, you just could like the building or like the history of it, or, you know, it just looks kind of cool.
Which is like D, all of the above, honestly. What about you, Drew? Since you tied it into your first question, so we got to have your second half as well.
Yeah. So I would go to Alcatraz.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I fucking forgot about Alcatraz.
Yeah. That is my dream location. I really want to go there, but it is so expensive. It's like, I want to say like $25,000 or $35,000, like just to investigate. Which is insane.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah, no. Guys, I actually just thought of a two places that I would go, and they are in the UK and elsewhere. Oh, the Hellfire Caves.
Ooh.
I have always, ever since, I have like this weird draw to that ever since like I found out the history to all of that. That would be spooky. I'm not sure if I would be ready for that quite yet, but that would be such an interesting place to go.
I agree. I love that. I love that one.
Oh,
I do love that too.
and Dracula's castle.
Oh,
I'm adding that.
okay.
I'm adding that.
Okay, do it.
Okay, so thank you so much, Drew, for joining us. We had such a great time talking to you and letting you answer some of our questions. Thank you for also dealing with our chaos, because that just never goes away.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I think that this is such an awesome opportunity, and I think that you guys have such a good platform and a good idea on what sounds good, what people would like to hear, and I can't wait to hear what else you guys have in the future.
Oh my god, I love you.
Literally.
You're gonna make me cry.
You're making me blush over here. Like, oh my God.
Stop. You're making me nervous.
Yes, I'll
Tucking
go,
my
I'll go to
hair.
the dance with you.
Oh my God.
Thanks. Mom, I got a date for the dance. No, but seriously, thank you for being on our podcast.
Yes, I'm
And
sweet.
You guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
an
Thanks.
avocado. Thanks. We love you, Drew Berry.
We love you.
Hand hearts.
Hand hearts. And Jay loves you too. She just could not be here.
Next
She actually
time.
was really, really sad that she missed this part of this. So
Yeah. But she was very sad.
I'll meet you soon, Jamie.
Jamie.
In my dreams.
Yes.
In my dreams.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Oh, she would like it too.
Look, Drew made it weird for us. Now we don't have to. Oh,
See, I fit right in.
exactly.
Perfect.
All right. So next week, Bree from the Fear Friends, Brianna Becker, is joining us. She is our guest. She won the contest last week. We are super excited to have her on because I don't know if people do know this or not, but Mads and I also in the Fear Friends, fellow Fear friend coming on. That's exciting, and we love Bree.
Yes, we love Bree, and we're so excited.
Bree cracks me up. So I'm excited to get her on the podcast because she's funny as shit. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast, all you have to do is answer our quiz question that we will post on Monday. Again, don't know what time, just whenever one of us has a second. Shout out Mads, by the way. She's the one who makes those posts for us.
Yeah.
So she does a great fucking job. So don't know what the question will be yet. We'll figure that out once we're done editing. But yeah, all you have to do, be the first person to DM us the proper answer, and you are the guest the following week.
Woo!
Like we said, we do workout time zones and everything. Keep that in mind. Also, like we mentioned, we're not recording Friday nights anymore. Gonna be Saturday mornings. I'm just tired of having this fight every time.
Yeah, with the software, it's so stupid. Thank you guys for joining us this week for our 6th episode of Fear Babes podcast.
Please join us next week for the Sleeping Alone part of Joliet Prison, which I am extremely excited about, given how good this week's episode was. I feel like that one's going to be a good one as well.
Oh yeah, it set the stage for just more evidence, more absolute chaos from us. And
Catches that creepy photo, has to go sleep alone.
yeah,
How chaotic.
Oh.
How scary.
and not to mention Tanner's idea of
Oh yeah, handcuffs.
handcuffing someone in the
Not the fun kind.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
You just Uno reversed me.
I Uno reversed you.
You stole my catchphrase.
I'm excited to see if that will come through, and if it does, who's going to be handcuffed.
Oh, let us know. This is not the contest question, so don't get excited. But do let us know. Who do you think ends up in the handcuffs?
Let us know. Let us know. All right. Well, bye, babes.
Bye, babes.
On behalf of Jamie, bye, babes. I have a butthole antenna.
She's not gonna be happy with that. Oh. Boom. 2/3 nailed it.
2/3 nailed it. Woo, yeah. Woo.
Yeah. P.S. Last time, shout out Dakota for some bomb ass editing.
Shout out Dakota. I don't actually hate you.
Oh, how nice of you. Better stop recording before the universe implodes because you're being nice again.
Dakota.